Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. May my Lord expand for me my heart and ease for me my task and untie the knot from my tongue that they may understand my speech. After this dua, we'll start discussing a topic which is related to externality. So far, we have discussed how to stop or how to the public should respond to externalities. We have discussed tax subsidies, creating a market. Now we're discussing established property right. Just recalling our earlier argument that the root cause of externality is the absence of property right. Therefore, a natural way to cure the problem is to put the resource in question into private hand. Suppose property rights to the river are assigned to Bart. Assume that it is costless for Lisa and Bart to bargain with each other. Is it possible for the two parties to strike a bargain that will result in output being reduced from Q1? Uh, let's recall this is marginal benefit curve. This is your marginal private cost. This would be the marginal social cost, which is equals to marginal private cost plus a marginal benefit. This is again marginal damage. This is a socially desirable output, which is we are denoting with Q star. MPC and MC, this there is, let me, this is not part of our discussion, right? Bart would be willing not to produce a given unit of output as long as he receive a payment that exceeds his net incremental gain from producing that unit. Bart will be ready to produce if this statement would be positive. Marginal benefit is positive. If you subtract the cost, it should be in positive, right? On the other hand, Lisa would be willing to pay Bart not to produce a given unit as long as the payment were less than the marginal damage done to her. We can write this expression. This is for the Bart. We're taking the same example that we have previously discussed. This is the equation for Bart. For Lisa, the equation would be marginal damage greater with MPC, right? This would be the Q1, right? Q1 is the point where your marginal benefit at Q1, your marginal, the difference between the marginal benefit and MPC is equals to 0 at point Q1, right? While MD is positive, MD is greater than 0, right? Which means that MD is greater than MP minus MPC, right? Uh, Now there's a point where there's a scope for bargain, right? Similarly, uh, Lisa would be willing to make exceed M marginal benefit minus marginal private cost at every output level to the right of Q star, right? Over here, right of Q star, right? In the contrast, the left of Q star, the amount of money Bart would be demand to reduce his cost, reduce its output, would exceed what Lisa would be willing to pay. Hence, Lisa pays Bart to reduce output at Q star, the efficient level. We cannot tell without more information exactly how much Lisa will end up paying Bart. This depends on the relative bargain strengths of the two parties, regardless of how the gains from the bargains are divided. However, production ends up at Q star. Now, suppose the shoe is on the other foot and Lisa is assigned the property rights to the street. The bargain process now consists of Bart paying for Lisa's permission to pollute. Lisa is willing to accept some pollution as long as the payment is greater than the marginal damage to her fishing enterprise. Bart defines it worthwhile to pay for the privilege to producing as long as the amount is less than the value of marginal benefit minus this equation, right? Minus marginal private cost for the unit of output. Reasoning similar to the foregoing suggests that they have every incentive to reach an agreement whereby Lisa sells Bart to the right to produce Q star. The conclusion is that the efficient solution will be achieved independently of who is assigned the property rights as long as someone is assigned those rights. This result known as the cost theorem, right? Which is, introduced by Ronald Called, implies that once property rights are established, no government intervention is required to deal with externalities. However, there are at least two reasons society cannot always depend on cost theorem to solve externality problem. First, the theorem requires the cost of bargaining do not determine properties from finding their ways to efficient solution. Second, the theorem assumes resources owners can identify the source of damage to their properties and legally prevent the damages, right?